Are you burnt out, unstimulated, and dissatisfied? Do you feel exhausted, underpaid, and as if you're running on empty? Then you're not alone. It's not because you've outgrown nursing, it's because you've outgrown the box you were placed in. But what if your decades of nursing experience could finally work for you? I'm going to show you the exact steps to become an independent nurse consultant in 2025 so that you can regain control over your time, boost your income whilst doing work that feels aligned and fulfilling to you. The 3 steps to take in order to discover profitable nurse consulting services you can offer to healthcare providers, and lastly, market validation and how to actually secure your first client. If you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel yet, be sure to hit the subscribe button as well as the notification bell so that you can get notified each time I publish a video on how to regain control of your time, well-being, and impact through independent nurse consulting. I've used the exact same strategies I'll be sharing with you today to secure healthcare consulting clients within a matter of weeks. And as a result, it enabled me to gain time freedom as well as location freedom whilst making an impact through nurse consulting. And now I help other experienced nurse leaders just like yourself do the same. But first, what is nurse consulting? Nurse consulting is a specialized professional service where experienced nurses use their clinical expertise, administrative skills, and knowledge of the healthcare systems to provide advisory, educational, or operational support to various industries. These industries, in case you're wondering, include healthcare organizations, legal teams, insurance companies, educational institutions, and private clients. It's a dynamic role where you transition from being a practitioner to being a trusted advisor. You're solving problems, improving patient outcomes, or enhancing organizational efficiency. The purpose of nurse consulting is to use your current nursing expertise in order to solve problems. Think of yourself as a problem solver. So, how do you get started with independent nurse consulting in 2025? Step 1 is understand the true value of your nursing expertise. What do I mean by this? Every day I see experienced nurse leaders stuck in their current roles because they do not understand the value of their experience. They undermine all the years of nursing expertise that they've acquired. Companies are in high need of nurse consulting in order to improve their healthcare processes as well as patient outcomes. They need nurse consultants to streamline administrative processes and healthcare operation, enhance compliance with regulations, and train and develop strong healthcare leadership. The strong need for nurse consulting services is further compounded by the fact that during and after the pandemic, many highly skilled trained nurse leaders left the profession due to burnout. Another thing is there's been a high staff turnover and low retention, leading to gaps within leadership in healthcare. Lastly, there's been an increase in the number of people with chronic disease conditions, an aging population in the West, and higher patient visits, which has led to a need for more streamlined healthcare processes. The numbers also speak for themselves. As of 2023, the global consulting market share size was sitting at $28.2 billion and has been increasing at a projected rate of 10% every year. So if you're sitting there feeling stuck and stressed and frustrated as an experienced nurse leader, doubting your own expertise, I really want you to turn that belief upside down. On the contrary, your skills and expertise are in high demand. They are much needed, and there's so much that you can do with them. Let me show you the 3 steps to discover profitable nurse consulting services that you can offer based off of your years of nursing experience, starting with personality. One of the reasons that might have led to your current dissatisfaction and unhappiness with your career right now is because people spend many years doing work that is not in alignment with their personality and their strengths. So what you are going to do is you're going to change that narrative. If you go to Google, look for the Nearest Type Explorer test, you'll be able to answer a few questions and know what your personality type is. Once you know what your personality type type is, it will break down for you the kind of career path that is most aligned to your strengths. I really want you to take some time to measure that, measure what your personality is versus what it is you're actually doing. You might find that there's a misalignment that is happening. No wonder why you are unhappy. Go ahead and find out what your personality type is and let us know in the comments. Also, let me know, do you feel like your current career or role is aligned with your personality? Second step in uncovering and discovering profitable Nest Consulting services to offer today is to look at your past experience. Look at the past 20 years or 30 years, no matter how many years that you've been nursing. And I want you to analyze the times when you were really truly enjoying what you were doing and write down at least 3 projects that you were working on and what sort of support were you giving to people. I hear many people come alive when they're helping others. So it might be the frontline work, even though you were a leader, but it was the frontline work of making your clients or your patients smile and having that one-on-one interaction. I know for another nurse leader that I've spoken to, their passion comes from wanting to impact the future generation of nurses with the skills that they need in order to thrive so that they don't quit within the first 3 or 4 years. So their passion was to develop a hospital residency program that would help in the orientation of new nurses. What have you thoroughly enjoyed doing? I know one of my past clients, her area is sexual health, and her passion was the budget and finances, streamlining processes so that the organization was not losing money and stock was being monitored. Your passion might be regulatory compliance because you are, a lawyer at heart and you want to see things done properly. I really want you to list 3 things, 3 parts of your expertise that have stood out to you. That's the first part about your experience. The second thing, I want you to think about what other people say you are good at. When you look at your family, your friends, your colleagues, your managers, both current and past, what do they say you are good at? There is so much gold in that. As a successful nurse consultant, you will be playing according to your strengths. You're not inventing this whole new concept of work that never existed before. No, you're actually analyzing your past expertise and packaging it into a profitable consulting offer. And it really starts with acknowledging what you've achieved in the past or what you're currently achieving. Those are the things I want you to focus on as a nurse consultant. Once you have finished listing out your achievements and the 3 main roles or accomplishments that you've made and the 3 main things that you want to continue working on as a nurse consultant, I also just want to caution you, please do not focus on things that you hate doing or things that you resent. You want to build your nurse consulting business based on work that feels aligned to you and that you're passionate about and excited to work up to. So if it's something that you excelled at but you hate, try not to include it in this list. And then lastly, I want you to identify the industry's biggest problem. Remember when I told you the definition of a nurse consultant, I emphasized the fact that as a nurse consultant, you're basically solving problems. That's what nurse consultants do. It's not rocket science. You're simply solving problems. So now, in order for you to hit the sweet spot where your past experience, your passion, and personality meets the profit or the money, you need to identify your industry's biggest problem. For example, if you're in home healthcare, what are the biggest problems in home healthcare? If you don't know, here's how you can discover them. Go on Google and type in your niche: home healthcare, sexual healthcare, long-term care, aged care, acute care, whatever it is. Type in your niche and then look at the news section and see what is trending in the news. Typically, the negative news or the negative media tends to really trend. See what the media is saying. What are healthcare providers in trouble about when it comes to compliance, their engagement score, or their reputation? Really look into the big problems of the industry. See what people are saying about them. It also gives you a picture. Go on the website of the regulatory bodies and see what is the hot and trending topic. Typically, that's what healthcare providers will concentrate on. I want you to list a minimum of 10 major industry problems. There you have it. You've completed step 2, which is discovering profitable nest consulting services to offer. But how do you actually land your first client? How do you translate that to getting a client through the door? And I know that money is such an important factor when it comes to us as nest leaders, because I speak to many nest leaders every day, and many of them are the primary breadwinners. You're probably in a situation where you can't afford to just quit your job and go off somewhere because you have a family to provide for. If that's you, don't be afraid. I've got you. You don't need to quit your job without a plan B, and you don't need to quit your job before you have income coming in. So, how do you secure that first client? The first thing is market validation. You've discovered what your personality is in step 1. The second thing, you've looked at your past experience and you've come up with some nest consulting services that you can offer. And then you've looked at the industry problems and discovered what the main hot problems are in your industry. You now want to validate that all this work that you have discovered and come up with actually has market that is willing to pay for it. So how do you validate? By having conversations with healthcare providers and actually getting your foot in the door and asking them about the problems that they're facing, the solutions that they're seeking, and just listening. You want to gather as much data from as many healthcare providers that you can, so that you come up with a well-rounded picture of what the problem is and what solutions they are seeking. After you have validated that, the next thing is securing your first client. So how do you secure this client? By taking all the information from step 1 and step 2 and then putting that into a nesting proposal and proposing the solutions that you're going to offer them for their problems. Ensure that your proposal outlines the benefits that healthcare providers are going to get from you. I know as nurses, we like to think of nursing as this compassionate profession where money is never an issue, but the truth is healthcare providers need to be profitable in order for them to stay in operation. So when you create proposals, highlight the benefits. What key benefits are healthcare providers going to get from you? And then you are off to the races. The next step will be making appointments and meetings, having conversations with healthcare providers, and securing contracts with them. I always say that the quickest and fastest way to secure a contract with a healthcare provider is in person, actually walking into the facility and speaking with them in person. That's what I did. I simply made a lot of proposals, got into my car, hit the road, and started having conversations. If you do not have the freedom to do that, then you can connect with healthcare providers or different companies via LinkedIn. You can look up their contact details and send them an email and then set up a Zoom or in-person appointment. You can simply pick up the telephone and actually call them. Once you secure your first client, you grow the muscle to get more and more clients through the door. I think that as a nest consultant, it's important to have recurring and a steady income coming in. And the way that you do this is by lining up a few clients. And the beauty of independent nest consulting is if you're doing it as a sole provider, you only need 1 or 2 clients. These relationships last for years and years. I have found independent nest consulting to even be more secure than a regular job that you can just lose tomorrow. I know from some of my clients, they literally just lost their jobs. Whereas as a nest consultant, you can continue evolving, growing, and getting clients through the door. If you would like to use your years of nesting experience in order to regain control over your time, your health, your well-being, your relationships, to have flexibility and scale your income through independent nest consulting, then I'd love to invite you to click on the link in the description or in the comments and apply to work with me inside the Nest Consultant Blueprint, where we can help you transition to independent nest consulting without losing access to your current paycheck. Click the link and let's talk.